Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird. Welcome to the Blackbird Grimoire and to Pagan Tales. Today we're talking about the goddess Brighid. We are just days away from Amalk. And so many of us will already have our attention fixed on the Celtic goddess Brighid and looking for even the tiniest hints of the return of spring, even if it's just ever so slightly longer daylight hours as the slow crawl out of winter's darkness is finally noticeable. Brighid is quite well known throughout the pagan world, and by way of review for the old hands and to inform any newcomer who see this video, let's talk about who she really is. The goddess Brighid is known by many variants of her name, Bride, Breed, Brigantia, and so on. But however she is addressed, we know her as the goddess of the fires of poetry, healing, and smithing, as well as the goddess of the sacred wells. She is the daughter of the Dagda, and either the goddess Boann or the Morrigan, or possibly even the goddess Danu herself. Opinions seem to vary greatly on that front. So I encourage you to do your own research on the matter and draw your own conclusions. Brighid is designated as a triple goddess. Perhaps she might have been three sisters who were all called Brighid and who were treated as a single goddess. Again, opinions and experiences vary on this point, so you will have to rely on your own research and your own experience to form your own personal opinion. Brighid was part of the Tuatha De Dan and was married to Bress of the Fomorians, and together they had a son called Ruadan. Sadly, when the tribes came into conflict, Brighid was in the awful position of her husband and her son fighting against her kinfolk. When Ruadan fell in battle, naturally Brighid was absolutely hysterical with grief, as any mother would be, and this gave rise to the custom of keening, which is intense and almost musical wailing. Now, despite her links with deaths, Brighid is strongly associated with the spring and the summer, as she's a fertility goddess, a protector of animals. She has a great deal to do with agriculture, the keeping of the house, and trades and the crafts. She's also quite protective of women and their children, and she is a patroness of marriage. This goddess was so beloved that even after the conversion period, the church ultimately had to embrace her, after thinly disguising her as a saint. Sure. This process was quite usual. Anything that the church was unable to destroy or to demonize, it ended up getting borrowed and reinvention reinvented. Nowadays, if you hear the term reimagined, that's essentially what was done then is what's also being done here. She was reimagined to suit them, and this was really a way of ensuring that conversion stuck, and it was also a way for the church to solidify its power and influence. So if you ever wonder why that tends to happen, that was why. I'm afraid that it comes down to those kinds of base motivations. Now, because Brighid was so deeply entrenched with the practical matters of life as well as the arts and of magical practice, there's just no way to dislodge her from occupying a place of considerable importance. Her wide range of abilities, in addition to possessing a truly kind heart, makes this goddess exceptionally easy to work with and to learn from. It's not unusual for her to be among the first deities that a new pagan or a new witch has dealings with, particularly if the individual is in need of healing, which is very much under Brighid's purview. Perhaps the most famous and most significant site associated with Brighid is Kildare. This is where the eternal flame, also called the Flame of Ireland, burns. It was put out during the reign of Henry VIII's Reformation, but the flame has since been relit and is tended to this day. This is also the site of one of the many wells dedicated to Brighid. It almost feels unnecessary to state why Brighid has relevance to modern pagans. I mean, it's so self-evident. Many of us celebrate Amalk yearly, and we've been blessed with this goddess's attention in our practices. And, we don't really need an explanation for why she matters. We know, we've lived it. But one way we can work with her is to establish a shrine specifically in her honor. And given her strong associations with fire, water, and the earth, we have a myriad of options to choose from. One being the hearth of the home, whether it's a fireplace in your living room or the stove in the kitchen. Another would be a water source on the property where we live, whether it's a well or a spring. We could even have a dedicated space to her in our gardens. Another means of calling upon Brighid is in her healing capacity. If you've seen the statistics on the number of prescriptions for both physical and emotional ailments in this country alone, you'll know why we are very much in need of divine assistance, all of the divine assistance we can get to heal ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Brighid can help turn matters into our favor on all of those fronts, and it's actually a wonder that we don't beseech her for this more often. And let's also not forget that we can turn to Brighid for both inspiration and invention. We live in very challenging times, and the solutions to our problems may require a bit of creativity. And Brighid can help rekindle our flame of creativity if it needs to be, and if we ask her nicely. And she's very accommodating whenever we ask her nicely. So, no fear on that score. So, what are your own personal experiences with this goddess? Have you worked with her before? What kind of experience was it for you? And what did you like about it? Was there anything you disliked about it? Because there's always bound to be someone who's an outlier, whose personal energy didn't quite mesh with hers. And, I would be very interested in hearing about all of that. So tell me about it in the comment section below, or send me a message at Brigantia Blackbird at protonmail.com, and I'd be happy to have a more in-depth discussion with you there. But that'll do it for now, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.